Your weekly dose of inspiration starts right now, right here on Bophelong. I am Pulem Molebatsi. Welcome to the show. This week, the spotlight is on two key players in the tech space. Katlego and Refilwe Rakomo are founders of Starco Enterprise, an electronic manufacturing company that measures their success not only by the number of sales that they make, but by the impact they make in their communities by giving those who are less privileged an opportunity to make use of technological gadgets to improve their lives. Our producer, Nombuso Mahlangu, documented their story.
Meet Refilwe and Katlego Rakomo, two brothers who changed the face of their reality through their dreams. Born and bred in Seshego, the brothers in their mid-30s were raised by both their parents, who also had a small corner shop in the township. Refilwe and Katlego embraced every opportunity given by their parents, and they knew from an early age that they wanted to be change makers.
From the ages of 12, 15, 13, 14, 15, we used to play out here. We'd wait for our grandfather, who would be getting his stock from other suppliers, and he'd be bringing his supplies into the township. So we'd see him coming around from the corner, and we'd chase the van down, and we'd literally jump in the back of the van and grab stock, immediately run into the supermarkets we used to have behind here.
This was our training ground, and we had a very good time here. This is where we learned the basics of everything, keeping your customers happy. You can see it's a township and it's family. Everything is all about family and community, So we learned the basics of that from customer service, but also we would give some of our old pensioners credit, and as a child and when you grow, you sort of learn lessons like that. And over the years, we'd start doing the books. We'd help with the sourcing of products. So, in a way, it taught us some of the basics that we're applying today in our business life.
Their mother explained how the two boys were always inquisitive about business.
Katlego and Refilwe, they were very, very energetic when they were still very young. Very energetic and very inquisitive, like Katlego, very inquisitive. And every time he wanted to know how this thing happened, they started from long because of when they grew up, their grandfather, Mr. J.O. Malema, had a business in Seshego, Zone 3, and it was a bicycle supermarket, like bicycle or just a general, I can say general dealer. And then they used to go there as early as 2 years every time with their grandfather to the shop.
Watching their mother and grandfather growing business and being part of them gave the brothers a different view to life.
I was just helping my grandparents and I was helping my parents as a child, and I was learning how to sell, I was learning how to exchange money, I was learning how to count money, I was learning how to deal with customers, I was learning how to make sure that customers understand that we got new products that are coming. I was like the new marketing guy. Every time I was out here, the customer service was up because I'm the marketing genius in the family, right? So I had to play that role, and I'm glad that my grandfather was patient enough with us to allow us to go through those stages and to teach us all of that.
I would remember the days when we'd walk with my grandfather. We'd sleep at his house, and we'd get up in the morning. He was an early riser, and you'd get to the shop and he'd say, look, your mission today, and my dad kept on doing it too after my grandfather was gone, but he'd say, your mission today is to come up with something new, come up with a product, come up with an idea, come up with a promotion, So, we did this for 10, 12 years, so that fire then started to build, a lot of it was learning. You'd bump against the wall and say, what can I really do in here? But you'd actually make something happen, So it taught us to be self-starters.
Growing up in a township was a good training ground for the two brothers to gear them up for greater ground.
It motivated us to really, never give up, always find a way to get your product out there, to get the business out there. You can see it's a very competitive square, you know. Once upon a time, this was actually the hub of black businesses, you know. And it was a very competitive square, very vibrant, family community. But it really stoked up that entrepreneurial spirit in us to come up with new ideas, be innovative, you know, sort of beat the competition also, you know. So yes.
Regardless of their family business dying down, the brothers started their own electronics company, which is a new legacy for their own new families.
I'm very humbled, and I'm very pleased because of, you know, when you grew up in a township and having experience of how, you know, some of the children come from poor background, and you know they've never even experienced, you know, just seeing a cell phone or just having a cell phone. So I'm very humbled by this and very pleased.
Their journey to success was not one that was easy traveling, but it was one worth learning from.
Stay with us. We go behind the scenes at Starco Empowerment with Refilwe and Katlego after the break.
If you strive to see further than what's in front of you, if you look past the next deadline, the next dollar, the next deal, well, then you'll see the bigger picture. You'll see the potential for growth and the possibility of harnessing energy from the sun. You'll discover greener pastures and lay a cable after you've run out of land.
What do you think? You like them?
You'll see the power of technology and build hopes and dreams out of sand and stone. You'll bridge the gap between past and future and the distances that keep us apart. Because when you look at the world differently, you may just change it for good.
Coming up this week on Trends, design extraordinaire David Tlale launches his latest African-inspired collection. After almost 4 decades, South African White Zulu Johnny Clegg says goodbye with his final Journey World Tour. The Capsule Festival was lit with performances by Mzansi's favorites and American trap lord A$AP Ferg. For your weekly dose of art and entertainment news, tune into Trends every Saturday from 12 to 1.
Welcome back to the show with me, Pule Molebatsi. Katlego and Refilwe Rakomo are siblings who have taken their love for electronics to a lucrative business that have made them ones to look out for in the tech space. In this next insert, they take us through behind the scenes of their business. Let's have a look.
Stalco Empowerment was established in 2012 when two determined brothers had a vision and would not allow anything to stop them. The Rakomo brothers have invested a lot of their childhood studying how business was ran from their late grandfather and their mother. Today they're leaders in the electronics industry.
So welcome to Stalco Empowerment Headquarters. Today we'll be taking you through here, showing you what exactly we do, the products we manufacture for our customers. You'll see a lot of our staff, the QCing that gets done, and get a feel for how we operate on a day-to-day basis. So let's take you through.
Stalco has grown with its challenges, of course.
Well, Stalco Empowerment was formed around the simple idea that we needed to have a black empowered retail player in the retail industry. The retail industry is still extremely untransformed in various categories and various sectors, from manufacturing, sourcing, distribution. So when you look at the whole entire retail industry as a whole, you do not have any black participation that in terms of ownership, in terms of factories that are producing goods that go into retail. There's a very few companies that are black owned that do that. So we saw it as an opportunity firstly, and secondly we saw it as a challenge. That where do we take this to the next level? How do we keep growing Stalco Empowerment? And we decided to form it on the basis that we saw a gap.
It's not all easy. Like they say in life, in business, there's no shortcuts. You have to take things step by step and throughout the whole process. So we had a lot of challenges, and you know, when you look back at them, you don't even call them challenges. It's just a road that you had to walk, you know. We had a road that we had to walk, and we're still walking today. You see at everything in the world and how it's developing, especially in our industry in tech, you know. We have disruption in tech happening every day. So you always have to be on your feet, and you always have to catch the pulse of where things are really moving.
Employing over 36 people, the brothers have learned to manage and pass on their entrepreneurial skills to their employees.
We've got a full service electronics business. That's how we like to term it. You'll see that side there's a lot of TV manufacturing going on. That's where we're assembling a lot of our TV stock for our various customers. We do about 94,000 TVs annually. Then you can see now in this tablet section, we do quite a lot of tablets also for our customers, for different customers requiring different things from us. And we also do a lot of the small appliances and audio devices. We sort that out for our customers. Our customers have needs for their customers as well, so we make sure that we're in line with that, deliver to them on time, and run a tight operation.
We specialize in, mainly from a local assembly point of view, TV manufacture, local assembly. We do small appliances as well. So we do small appliances under license for retailers. And now we're also expanding further into large appliance manufacturing, which means you're going more into large appliances, refrigeration, and other different items like furniture and other items that you can expand in local manufacture. That creates jobs and also that drives, you know, the numbers in the business.
One employee, Clifford, came in with not much technical skills, but has since gained much more than anticipated from Stalco.
For these 5 years, I'm just happy. I can see like a lot of progress in terms of my job. Test and well, QC in general. My guest officers are right by share information, team technically, information in Chiagitani Mustal Cookes and Ion. Not like from Koskolong or Tolagibegasa Kasagitsi.
Having attained what was just an imagination, Stalco Empowerment only aims to empower.
Growing up, you know, you couldn't imagine it, to say the least. But you know, now that it's here, you think about it even getting even more bigger. You know, you look at some of the biggest companies in the world. You hear that Nike has 35,000 employees. a whole village as a factory or a warehouse and a business. So it's like similar to what Nelson Mandela says. Once you climb on top of one hill, you only realize that there's more hills going forward, you know?
Amongst many other plans, the brothers have decided to educate the youth of South Africa about the world at large through technology.
The idea literally came to us a few years ago. About 2013, we saw a huge gap in the digital migration space because there's a migration that's taking place from analog to digital. We looked at the migration of technology as well, from mobile to tablet to how education is also changing into the sphere. So we decided to start a product called Funda that we could sell in retail, and also as a result, we started seeing the stats and started seeing the research that was telling us that a lot of young children need access to our products. A lot of young children need access to our services. So we decided to start a foundation. We decided to launch a product so that we can go into all these communities, especially the poorest of the poorest communities where students have literally nothing but this opportunity of having a tablet in their hands to get into education. We also looked at the inequality around education, that education is the cornerstone of your life. Without it, you don't have a skill, you don't have something to offer to the market or something to offer to society. So it's very critical that we accelerated it and we took it to children, and that's why we chose Marude Secondary High School in Venda, and we're going to be choosing more other schools that we're going to be working with around the country.
Successful in the manufacturing industry, the two brothers are good influencers and philanthropists to the youth of South Africa through their educational initiatives.
After the break, the students at the University of Venda get an upgrade with their learning gadgets. We are back with details after this.
It is 6 p.m. Central African Time, broadcasting live from Johannesburg. This is Primetime News.
South Africa said farewell to one of the Rivonia trialists, Uncle Kathy, a fearless stalwart.
With this man who was so engaged, so busy, so witty, so funny, so wise, and so incredibly principled.
Joseph Shabalala has been honored for his contribution to the South African music industry. A statue in his honor was unveiled during an annual gala dinner in Ladysmith.
The shot of the day, however, belonged to American Daniel Berger, who chipped in for an eagle on the par 4 fifth hole.
For all your news updates, stay on Primetime News every Saturday and Sunday from 6 p.m.
What guides us? What leads us forward? Is it the words of our sacred texts? Is it the actions of our people? Or the voices of our citizens? Your country is guided by the voices of its people, and your broadcaster is dependent on your voice to guide it. Get your copy of the SABC's editorial policy and have your say.
And we are back, and thank you for staying with us. We are nearing the end of our show today. We conclude the story of Refilwe and Katlego Rakomo with their recent education initiative at the University of Venda. Have a look.
Katlego and Refilwe Rakomo have chosen a path of educating the disadvantaged communities of South Africa. Taking us to Thohoyandou in Limpopo, Starco Empowerment started a campaign to give out over 36,000 tablets to the students around the community of Venda.
Many young children today that still need access to education. And part of the reason why we came as a company was to make sure that today you have a secondary school that is just next to the university. Coleman Bay Secondary School is just as you go out. We also looked at the need that you also have around your community. so that we can also assist and see what we can give further to students that are still coming into Univen. So there are students who are also coming next year into your school that don't have access to tablet devices and digital devices, and we decided to also include them as well. So as part of our ceremony today, we're also going to be giving a check of a certain amount worth of tablets to the secondary school children as well, so that they also benefit as part of the process.
Tablets for the first entering students of the University of Vienna are currently with us, and then, but we're not going to start the distribution today because we know that others, they might be writing and so, but we want to give this thing a lengthy thing so that even when the day we're saying each school we're giving the tablet, we know that we'll cancel all classes in each and every school. Not to have this thing to say others are jumping for tablets, others are writing, others are busy with their assignment. So part of the campaign is that we want to roll out the e-learning program to say it must be across South Africa, because our aim is to make sure that we say papers in class must fall.
We have the PC at the library. We go there sometimes, but most of the times it's full there, so we don't get a chance.
I don't have a tablet because it's very expensive for me to buy it.
And then if you were to be given a tablet, how would it help you?
With my assignment, the research and the Google, if I want to find any information, it can help me.
It will help me because when the lecturers are lecturing, they use slides, and I don't have a phone that can accommodate that level. So it will help me, as I will be able to view the PDF that they send to other students.
I can use it to type when the lecturers give us the assignment. I can use to for searching information from the internet. Yeah.
From empowering the University of Venda, Starco saw it fit to donate tablets to a secondary school that is right next to the university called Marude Secondary.
We are very close to the university, but then we're having some challenges. So we saw ourselves now being on a spotlight, and would like to actually thank them, and then we would like them to fund us more and give us more, because the school is quite having a large enrollment of over 1,500. So we would need, we urge the sponsors to give us more and to be closer to us. They must also come and monitor how we're going to be using the gadgets, and how we're going to having some challenges. If there are some, then they will be able to help us on that area.
With no background of using e-learning, the school was excited to be introduced to the new age learning.
I'm so happy. It was so overwhelming, and I feel that these tablets will be able to enlarge our vision about education.
Well, I feel so excited because it is going to help us to achieve many things here in school, even economics. We're gonna Google and search things that are happening in this world.
The learners who were presented with a 65,000 rand check were happy for being granted an opportunity to improve their school and community.
Those tablets consist of science and maths. Like we take extra classes in the tablet.
I think this is quite a great privilege, as we are having technology. It's going to make our life easier, as it is in the world. It's making life easier. We're going to have that technology on our palm. I mean, like the whole universe on our palm.
Katlego and Refilwe saw a gap and did not shy away from filling it up.
You know, we're in the fourth industrial age, and at the same time, we're in the second, going on the third information age, you know? So tomorrow's kids, tomorrow's society is going to be an information society where not only is information freely available or easily available, it will also be easy to disseminate, you know? So that's where everybody talks about services and a lot of the things falling away, you know? So, you know, as I said to you, our vision really started off with education, you know, and in tablets. So we've made it our 2025 goal that we will get out 1 million tablets to students in South Africa. The reason to catch up with the information age.
We believe that more and more children, generation after generation, need to have access to tablet devices in terms of education devices. We also believe that the education devices will be the key instrument in them evolving from learning to development to career. Because of the way the world is changing and the way the fourth industrial age is impacting on jobs locally and globally, it's going to be part of their cornerstone. It's going to be part of their lives. So Vision 2025 is about making sure we have more than 1 million children having access to tablets in schools, anywhere around the country, and also making sure that many of our young children have access to the opportunities that these tablets offer, that access to the internet offers. And I think that's the first thing that we need to try and work towards, because the world is moving forward and the rest of our kids are staying behind.
Venda is now more than just a community that Stalco gave back to, but rather a kickstart for a greater society.
Set your goals without any borders. Set them, say where you want to be, how big it is, and really lay out your dreams. After you've laid out your dreams, get to the practical part of it. You know, the practicality of it is always the most important part, you know, because everything happens step by step. So lay them out, draw them out step by step. And then the last thing, and I think the principal from Marube said this, that ask. Ask. Where you need, ask.
So our future prospect is to grow and have a bigger team and have more people work for us and have bigger factories and have bigger capacity and produce more products and become the #1 leaders in terms of retail products in our industries and in our categories.
Aiming to lead and empower, Stalco speaks to a dream of a black child that all dreams are attainable.
And with that, we wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, it's a goodbye from me and the rest of the Bophelong team.